carry his wife to Canada. He gets to Canada, is now having the freedom and liberty to be whatever he wants to be. And then he's like, okay, this marriage is not going to work again, or he needs a fellow man
Mm.
instead. So these are, to me, these are the three major things that are happening
Mm.
as to why many marriages
Wow.
don't work here.
That makes a lot of sense. That makes a lot of sense. Number three shocked me myself. I didn't know that is part of the issue. But I think
Maybe you haven't even
what
heard where they bring home another party to actually do the do with them, right? Because they're now used to go to swingers club. So when they come back, they want to do all those action. It's in our community right now,
now wow.
you know.
Now
And the woman
wow.
is saying she's going to leave if that not happen. The man is
Mm-hmm.
saying, I'm going to leave. Or maybe the man is caught in the act and he's telling his wife, you can join us. Or the woman is caught in, because, well, it's sad,
Is
but
is
doesn't happen there.
I think that's why some people say is the things that are happening looks like the end times. It's
Maybe
crazy.
it still boils down to commitments. There's something she said. You see couples that, let me assume that these ones, they won a lottery and they both came together, right? Maybe the man's goal is to build a skyscraper in his father's house.
Mm.
And probably the family has not settled.
Mm-hmm.
They don't have a comfortable place to stay. They're in an apartment. The kids are not comfortable. They don't have good clothes,
Mm-hmm.
you know. But he's saying,
Mm-hmm.
I need to send money. They need to see the evidence of the money.
Mm.
Maybe the woman is saying that one of us needs to go to school so we can make better money. And then the man continue and say, you know what, if you don't want to help me, it's fine.
Mm-hmm.
So you see him when he's building, towards the end of the year, he will go home. The woman is now left to carry the home in most
Because
cases.
they're channeling all their money. Anyway, a quick shout out to Favor, Ekarika, Faith, Genesis, Chibweze, Debbie, Onyi Josie, Me Too 911. We see you all. Welcome. Welcome. Unfortunately, we're going to be ending soon, but please feel free to join the conversation. You can request to join the studio through the link on the comment section. But okay,
So,
Lolo, go ahead. Mm.
so you find this real. Do you understand what I'm saying? And the woman now think that she's exhausted. Because trust me, a woman is not made to be a provider.
Of
And if you
course
don't
not.
teach her and blend with her, she's going to lose her track. These are people that don't even understand themselves. Their body circle is messed up already. They have hormones not acting right. Now,
Mhm.
that's how they were born. See, I think if a woman is capable of being the head over the man, I think God would have made that happen in the beginning. But because he knows that these beings can be a wife, this being can be a mother, this being can multitask. Why the
Mhm.
man? It's not meant to multitask. The man is meant to be the head. So it starts, you see, our sister said a lot of things. But I also say, when you come from the diaspora, it boils down to, how were we raised? Because me, I grew up seeing my dad cook sometimes. Even though they're going to be shouting, Okwa chief, oh, he's a chief, he's not. My dad doesn't care. Because before there was a glory, there was a story. He was raised from a very poor home. So he struggled and gave his family a name. Okay. And so he knows how to do all those domestic chores. He knows how to farm. He knows his first job was he was a farmer. I don't know if you get my point. So if we raise our kids right, they will know they are needed in a home. They will know if he's a male child, he will know that his business is taking out the trash. If he's a male child, he knows that when he comes back from school and there's nothing at home, instead of waiting for mom or his sisters, he should know how to cook. So it boils down to teaching, sharing the house chores. Don't just raise a female child, raise also a male child. And
Mhm.
don't just raise a man telling him he's the head, that there are certain chores he should not be assigned to. It's an error.
Mhm. Mhm.
Teach him that a man solves problem. When you find out that this is a problem that needs to be solved, let him be someone that solves the problem. And back then, AB, I don't know when they were raising us, we were taught tolerance, we were taught endurance. Let's say I came back from work, I'm tired, hobby is tired, right? To be honest, I'm the first person that will get up and go do something because I have
Mhm.
that strength, first of all, as a mother.
Mhm.
I have that strength, first of all, as a wife. And then
Mhm.
planning. If there is no food, instead of my sisters that know how to nag, order the meal if the money is available. Provide something else. Don't sit
Mhm.
there and say, oh, you didn't. These are the things that causes problem. You change your tone. You address your man according to the stress that goes on the home, or the man is addressing you according to the job he came back from work with. That's what I said. If we learn when not to speak and allow some problems to pass over, first of all, you're introduced to a culture that is not yours, right?
Mhm.
Because of
Mhm.
the environment, right?
Mhm.
My advice would be you have to make it work. And 100% of times, or 75%, it's a woman that determines if a marriage will work. I know it is what a man brings to the table that a
Mhm.
woman makes a home. Yes.
Mhm.
She must
Mhm.
have something that is
I,
better.
I think it's both of them, though. I think it depends on both of them. One person cannot make it work.
Maybe I'm not saying
Like
one
the
person.
if a
I said
woman, no matter
75.
how much you try, if you have a man that doesn't care, that their mind, their heart is already somewhere else, you will just be hurting yourself
That's
trying
why I
to
gave
make.
women 70. I gave a woman, I said, see,
Mhm.
75%. Do you know it is when a woman let her guards down that a marriage ends actually? Under rare cases, it's a man that, listen, I'm speaking for my culture. It's recently now you see this new generation just end marriage as a man and walk away.
Mhm.
The ones that were born in my generation, in short, they can be doing all their mess outside, but it is very rare that they want to break their home. It is
Mhm.
very rare that they want to let go of the wife that they had married, right?
Mhm.
So it's very hard.
Unless the side chicks leave them something in their drink,
Thank you
because
so much.
nowadays
And
nowadays men
that's
are
why
not
I'm telling
acting
you
with clear eyes.
that's why I'm telling you that it has changed. But forget that. Did you forget that we have these I don't care sisters? Did you forget that we have sisters that are married to their job here in the US? That every
Mhm.
overtime that flies, even when they don't need it. Let me be honest. Let me leave this comment because if we go on and go on, we won't stop.
Mhm.
Okay, or chicho, looking for what is not looking for you. Not learning that life is a step. Not learning that when you're a CNA, you should exercise patience. Maybe you need to go to medication aid before
Mhm.
you get to a nurse. But because
Mhm.
you want to run and you don't know that that child starts by sitting, by carrying the head first, why sitting,
Mhm.
right? Before the child gets to that crawling stage, that standing stage, and that
Stage,
walking stage.
and finally that working stage. But hold on, me too. 911. What do you mean by nope? What are you saying no to?
You can come on the box.
Hit the
Learning.
link so you can get into the studio and tell us real quick.
So
Or you can type in what do you mean by no? No to what?
AB, like I'm saying, is that
Anyway, let's. Mm.
when we don't learn that
Mm-hmm.
we need to actually be in work in progress in marriage, that we need to
Mm.
work together to make at the end of the day, even if I said the woman has 75% of work, I'll also tell you here and now that the both of them needs to also be committed. A man is not made to multitask. You're a doctor. And you need to tell those women the truth. The reasons why they have hormones that are acting up in their bodies because they are made to multitask.
Mhm.
And I'm telling you the
That
truth.
is true. Men cannot multitask. For example, if my husband is on the phone talking on the phone and you want to give him something, you are literally he will tell you you're distracting him. But me, I can be talking on the phone, mm,
Be cooking
walking, cooking, and sweeping the
five
floor
things at a
and
time.
watching a baby at the
That's what
same
I'm
time. So
saying.
I do agree with you. Women can multitask. I understand that. But at the same time, what human beings have been given is the ability to adapt. For example, you are now in diaspora because I think we started this by talking about diaspora and why there's so much divorce. And C came into the studio and gave three reasons why marriages are not working in diaspora, which she's perfectly right. See, you're on point with that. And we'll get back to
Top
that.
notch.
But I think the fact that men can multitask and all that, I can see from what you're saying, you're kind of addressing women, that women are 75% the reason why marriages are not working in diaspora. Am I right?
No, no,
I
no, no,
think
no.
that's the way.
No, that's not what I'm saying. I'm saying that
Okay.
a woman has more role to play for a marriage to work or not work. That's what
Okay,
I'm
cool.
saying.
Okay, women have more role to play, maybe 75%, and male
Maybe,
have
yeah. It's
25%.
not. It's no. Maybe,
Maybe,
yeah,
maybe.
yeah.
Okay, but I will kind of disagree with that. I think it's
That's good.
50-50. 50
Hmm.
50.
Okay.
Because if we can adapt, like you said, women, we can multitask, men can't. If women can adapt to going to work, bringing home part of the baking, like if you compare from what she was saying in Nigeria, a woman is working, yes, but when you compare it to the man is working, taking care of most of the bills. This woman that is cooking, they think the woman is cooking. Let me tell you how it goes, because I watch my mother, I watch people. A woman that is cooking, this is how it goes. The maid has gone to the market, bought the okra, cut the okra one side. Another maid has gone to the market, bought meat, cooked the meat one side. Another maid have done, they can have up to five maids, depending on how rich the man is. And after they have done all this, one have gotten the cocoyam ready. You know what the woman does? They go into the kitchen, mix it all up, and the woman have cooked. But now we're in diaspora, where you won't find maid to cut okra for you. Where you won't find, so we don't have those things available to us. Now you expect a woman to behave the way the woman in Nigeria behave. You're going to probably kill that woman. I know I can use working. You're going to delete that woman eventually because that woman is overworking. They will go to work, do their 9 to 5, come back, chop the okra, cook the meat, do everything, and put the food together, serve the man, and you expect them to do this consistently. Eventually, that woman is going to run down, or eventually, they're going to start being resentful because the stress is much. So, these men, our men that are in diaspora, there is need, from what he is saying, there is need for them to adapt. The same way we women can adapt to work in roles we're not used to. And if we do those roles in Nigeria, we have help. Like I said, how many maids did your parents have growing up? I know all my life growing up, there are maids everywhere.
Hmm.
There are people living in a house that are not related to us. There are plenty. Okay. So you can't compare it to we here that we have no help. And the man is still carrying on like in Nigeria. That woman is going to either burn out, get resentful, or get tired. So I think it's 50-50. The women are adapting to roles they are not used to. Like you said, a man is the leader, a man is the king, a man is supposed to take care of the home. Yes. But if you let a man to do all that alone, the man can equally hurt himself because it's too much bills. Here you pay
Okay.
for water, you pay for electricity, you pay for the road, you pay for the grass. Back
So, Amy,
home, you don't pay for
can
these
I
things. So I think it's 50-50 to where the man is adapting to new roles, the woman is adapting to new roles. If there is love, it will be
So,
easy. Like, I'm one of the people that don't think marriage is that hard. I don't really think marriage is hard. Marriage is very easy if you have two people that want to serve each other. My whole role is to make my husband happy. And that is true. I'm not faking it. Like, if I think of anything that will make my husband happy, trust me, I'm doing it immediately because I want to see him smile. If my husband is thinking the same way to make me happy, he wants to see me smile. When two people are there serving each other, looking for ways to make each other happy, looking for ways to cut down the burden on each other, why won't it work? But what you see is one person wanting to still bring maybe the African mentality to the marriage and they're living in diaspora.
okay,
No,
AB, hold on. I want to ask you a personal question. Now, not even a question. A man and a woman should not
you
be
know,
the
we've
same.
been here almost 2.5 hours. We need to round up. Go
A
ahead,
man,
but we need to.
a man and a woman should not be giving, like a man should not work the same schedule with his woman.
Mhm,
A man as a leader should pick more hours at work. While the lady should also pick some hours at work, but not as much as the man is picking. It's not a
mhm,
competition
mhm,
because she still has jobs and role to play at home. And then it doesn't mean that the man does not have a role to play at home too. The woman can go all the errands at home. Okay, let me for an example, if you have meat and fish to butcher, because over here they don't do all those for us, right? Who does it? The man comes in and you know he's the one helping you chop those things, right? And that's why we
mhm.
have machines. Now, back I
Wait,
told you.
wait, oh, no vex, no vex. Make I greet my husband, though. Chukukelo Pascal to Silva. Welcome, sir.
Okay, so
Casey Jackson Gill. Ogochukoke Auntie. You guys are welcome. Darlington Cheesy. Maxi Girl. Engineer Paceman. Thank you all, my loves, for being here. And please feel free to join the conversation. I appreciate your time. I appreciate you being here. Lolo, continue. Sorry to cut you off.
so I want to tell you something. It is what a man gives you. That's what
Mm-hmm.
you make out of it. Back in our parents' day, who says our mothers did not work? For instance, a man will provide the piece of land you are going to farm with. There are farms. It was known that a man has a yam barn, but women own Ede farm. Ede was owned by our mothers. They are the ones that farm, they are the ones that provide those products and make do of them. Are you understanding what I'm saying? Maybe they sell, the man can come back and sell the product, finishing the product. But if he doesn't give, he's the one that provides the land. The woman doesn't provide the land, he provides the land. So that means he has given her what to work with. And that's why they are still the head. It's just like when you come into a business and I make you a manager or you make me a manager, vice versa. If I don't give you what to work with, you cannot be productive. It doesn't
True.
mean that you cannot create ideas. You can. But because I am the owner of the business, that's why I have to give you what you have to work with. There must be a starting point. That's where I'm coming from. That even if the woman at the end of the day is going to do 75%, but it is the man that still will give her what to work with and that will still make that place a home. The man gets the house and the woman makes it what? A home.
A home.
Because
Mm-hmm.
if she does not beautify that home, it can never, it will still remain a house. First of all,
Mm.
the man gives her the sperm. And what does she do with it? What does she do with it?
She
Produce,
multiplies it. Mm-hmm.
multiplies it. So when she multiplies that sperm, she's the one that will carry the pregnancy. Men don't carry pregnancy for 9 months. Women will carry it for 9 months. And she's the one that will still give birth to that child. The man will never breastfeed the child. It is the job of the woman to breastfeed the child. It means that the woman will spend more time with that child than the man. So
Mm-hmm.
that's where I'm coming with that the woman 75%, the marriage is in her hands, even if the man gives her what to work with. And that's why I don't believe that leadership changes in a marriage. Leadership does not change because the sole sovereignty of leadership still belongs to a man. It is what he
Bam,
gives that the
bam.
women still build. Women are
Mm-hmm.
just called, what are we called? Multipliers. So it is what
Mm-hmm.
they give us that we work with. If they give us
Mm-hmm.
something that is dysfunctional, we will help them and scatter it.
Mm-hmm.
So if they come home drunk today, tomorrow they keep coming home drunk every day. It means that one day we'll go and try and know whether the drink is giving them happiness. Let me tell you
Mm-hmm.
a story that happened. I have a certain uncle that was smoking cigarettes. The wife keeps saying, "Don't smoke cigarette again." He refused. The wife keep begging him, getting angry that whenever he smokes cigarette and when he comes to, kiss her lips, that she feels like throwing up.
Mm-hmm.
One day, the lady snatched the pack of the cigarette right there
Mm-hmm.
in the living room and went to the bedroom. The man followed her. She locked the door. She lit the cigarette and she was trying to, take the cigarette. And
Mm-hmm.
she was coughing and choking. They had to force the door open. I heard that from that day, the man stopped smoking cigarettes. That's the
Mm-hmm.
lifestyle he introduced to his family.
Hold on, Lola. Somebody wants to ask questions. There's a link in the comment section. Hit that link and we can get you into the studio to ask your question. Hit the link in the comment section and you can be able to talk. You can leave your camera off if you want, or you can show your face if you want. But hit the link. He says, I wish I have the opportunity to ask few questions. Hit the link and we can get you into the studio.
Yeah, there's a
Okay,
link
me
if you go scroll the
2911.
comment
You can
section.
hit the link too because somebody is disagreeing with you, Lola. He says,
Oh,
Lola, I
that's
disagree.
perfectly well.
So
Perfectly well. You
guys,
can
come
come up.
into the studio so we can
I
hear
mean,
you.
I knew I was even begging the Lord that somebody should give us a debate, and I think AB Dr. Precious has been agreeing too much with me. I needed her to disagree at some points. That's when you're having an actual
Yes, guys,
conversation.
hit the link in the comment section so we can get you into the studio.
Yeah, I think AB, I think you can repost that link again because it's far
Okay,
off
let
right.
me repost it. Yeah. I'm gonna repost the link. So just hit that link
So
and you can
when you don't give a
you can
woman what
come
to
into
work,
the studio.
AB
So
100%
cause
of
I think Chuku
the
Kelo wants to ask questions, and I think me too 911 is the one disagreeing with you guys. Come into the studio so we can hear your
So
take.
if you don't give a woman what to work with, like I've seen women
Mhm.
complain that the man doesn't want to do absolutely nothing, he just want to be a spam donor. Now, if you don't give a woman what to work with, majority of the time that marriage is failed.
He's
Whether
dead on arrival. Dead on arrival.
whether
Guys,
you agree with
like
me
the show, please hit
or
the
don't
like button,
agree, AB,
hit
I
the
don't know
thumbs up button.
whether you agree with me or not, that marriage will still fail. And let me tell you, women are not meant to be leaders. They can be leaders in their offices, but they are not meant to lead a home because they
Yeah.
will fail. With the way women think with their emotions, and that's something
Mm-hmm.
we need to know. Imagine when a woman is in her cycle. Imagine when a
Mm-hmm.
woman is in her cycle, and when she's not in her cycle, you will see the different of these different decisions that she has made in these two times. I don't know if you get my point, but a man
Mm-hmm.
don't work with emotions. He works with what? His
Hey,
brain and when things are in order.
how are you?
I'm fine, my wife. Good evening.
Good evening. Good to see you. Welcome to the studio. Welcome to the live show. Oh, I think network, he went off again. Maybe he will come back. My auntie said women are burden bearers in the marriage.
Auntie, thank you for agreeing with me. Oh,
Request again. I think his network. Request again so you can come in again. I don't know what happened, but I
so
think his
that's why
network
I'm saying
issues.
that.
It kicked you
That's
off.
what I'm saying. That's why I'm saying that a marriage is more productive.
And we're
When
not burden bearers, so we don't want to bear burden again.
Dr.
We want
Precious,
to enjoy.
there's an Igbo adage that said,
We
Hamu
want to enjoy marriage.
Dr. Precious, there's a saying that says, Hamulo Odogu, Yabulo Odogu. Hmm?
Oh,
If
bam,
they give birth to a king, let him be a king. And
bam.
that is why women are meant to be helpers to these men. Eteluba,
Mm,
etelosi. A woman is not a leader of a home, she's a helpmate.
mm,
And in as much
mm-hmm.
as we claim that we own everything, that's why I said, Ugunwai wuna bedia. Maybe the
Mm-hmm.
generation of this generation will change the same. It means that the respect of a woman is in her man's house, is in her husband's
True.
house. The only way a woman can be a queen is if there's a king that is by her.
That is by her side.
And
I
that,
agree
that
with you.
that beautifies a woman. Show me that woman that is married, and you will see it doesn't mean that the ones that are unmarried they don't have anything to offer. No, that's not what I'm saying. I'm only saying that I come from a culture
Mm-hmm.
that says that the beauty of a woman lies in the heart of her beholder. That's the
Mm-hmm.
culture I come from, and I'm still
Yes,
practicing that culture.
Lolo, one second. Yes, you can type, but you can request again to come into the studio. I don't know. I think it was network before. So you can type, but it will be faster for you to just request to come in. Just hit the link again. Okay.
So
Lolo, I'm
that
hearing
that
you.
that's what I was trying
Well,
to say.
Lolo,
That
a lot of people we have. I do agree with you. Ugunwai. I think Igbo people say Mmanwai, Ugunwai budie or Mmanwai budie. Yes, I agree with that. But to some extent, things are changing now. And that statement, a lot of people will have a problem with it because are you trying to say now that people that are not married, they don't have Ugu again?
I
Because
corrected that. Oh, I did
it's
correct
not
it.
everybody that is married.
Look,
So
don't join my heads with theirs because I know they will come for me later. I did
lot of people
correct
are
it.
gonna come for you, eh? My hands are clean. You see my armpits, no hair. Lolo, you don't enter.
Truth be told, it's just like, see, it doesn't mean now culturally. Now, see, even the people of culture are still advising women that couldn't be
Mm,
married because marriage is not for everybody, that they should go and have a child, that's where happiness lies. But some people don't believe in children at all, and they still
mm,
come from the same Igbo culture. Some people don't want this generation right now. A lot of them don't believe that you need a child, you need a husband to be successful. They believe that you need yourself to be successful. That's what this generation
mm,
is living. And
mm.
this generation, I mean, their beliefs are strange.
Me
Let me
too.
just
You're blowing a lot of smoke in the comment section. Just come in the studio and talk for a few minutes so we can hear your point. He's saying men should lead their home, yes, but really, are you kidding me right now? So it's a lot of things that me too
I
911 is
said
not agreeing
that
with, but
please, you
she's
need to
not.
come up to the studio.
Hit
Like
the
I've
link and come into
neglected.
the studio for a moment and just tell us
We've
what.
been close. I think we've
Okay,
stayed so long, 2 hours.
okay. My aunt
You don't join them.
Ogochukwu
You don't
Okoye
even know.
is here. Lolo, we need
Yes,
you in the we need you.
I
We need
concur
you
with
here.
you, Lolo.
Auntie.
Lolo. Yes, I concur with Lolo. Yes, Ugunwa Ibudia. Ugunwa Ibudina Anuya. Some women did not know that men are umbrellas, that they cover us.
Eh?
When you look for them, you don't see them. It's then you will know their need. Ụfọdụ ụmụ nwaanyị
True,
amụrụ
true,
n'ugwu
true.
nwaanyị bụ di. Yes,
Uh-huh.
nwaanyị bụ umbrella. It covers you wherever you go. When you look for
Yes.
it, you don't see it. Then you will know. Rap maka ụmụ nwaanyị ndị
Mm-hmm.
na-agbakasị ọnụ na mara ọra na nwoke nwere ugwu a na-enye nwoke. Even if you have
Yes.
more than the man, you're supposed to that is respect the man. Men are the head.
Yes.
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 So Lolo, I
That's
go
true.
with you. My wife, you are hearing
Auntie,
me. I go with
I'm
Lolo.
hearing you.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. I go with Lolo. Yes. 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 Yes.
Auntie,
But
thank you. Thank
you,
you.
yes. Thank you, my dear. Thank you.
We agree. We have learned now. We have
Yeah.
corrected our ways. Those of us that are still thinking the man.
I love that. Auntie, you have wow, what a word. I mean, she didn't have too many words, but she nailed it. She
Yes,
nailed it.
yes,
Because
yes.
when you see a woman talking carelessly, you just ask, please. See, back then, when you see a woman talk carelessly, you ask, who is her mother? Who is her
Mm.
father? Who is her husband? Who is her siblings?
It's true, but you see, I'm trying to stay neutral because there's some women that will say, okay, we are not married. What are you saying? We don't have a covering. We are not
That's
this.
not
We're
what I'm
not
saying.
that.
But it does not, AB, it does not mean that I will bury my culture. No. In as much as, let me be honest to you, in as much as we want to fuel the W man's culture, AB, my culture will still stand firm. Now,
Mm-hmm,
I'm not saying that the people that didn't get married does not have sense. No. Whatever you believe, the ideology you believe works for you. When I was born, I knew that it will come to a time where that I'll be married. And I know, Amy, when we've had Dr. Precious, when we've had conversations, I told you, I said, if this one break, I'll be the first to go and marry again.
mm-hmm,
I've told you that a couple of times, but I'm not praying for
mm,
my marriage to follow. I pray it will last forever.
mm-hmm,
If there's something like
mm,
forever. But what I'm
mm,
saying in the sense, I'm clingy. So when you know yourself, you actually know that you need someone in your life to direct you. That's what
mm,
marriage is there for. I hope this person
mm.
is about to, disagree so that we can have a good
I
conversation.
really
Go ahead.
wanted to hear Chukukelo, my own husband. Eh? Come back now, come back. H, we can see you. We appreciate you. Go ahead and contribute.
Thank you. Can you both hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Okay.
Lola, are you
Lola, you
there?
there? Yes,
Yes,
ma'am, I'm
ma'am,
here.
I'm here. Okay.
Okay, so this is a very interesting conversation, and I do agree with Lala because maybe there are things that are cultural to us as Nigerians.
Mm,
However, I also feel like the issue, and I'm not trying to bash men, but I'm trying to say that sometimes there are I understand if a woman is supposed to be certain things within a culture because that's how we were raised and that's how we saw our mothers and our grandmothers and things like that. But I don't think the conversation should be geared to what women can do better or what they should do, but more so the men. How can men be better? How can we look for better men? Like, what are the, like, if we want this covering so bad, we need a good covering. We're not just taking covering because covering is there. There needs to be a good covering. I as a woman, if I want to be, because I personally, I'm married. I am married. But my husband has, to me, he's a good man. He never had any problems in terms of culture and everything because we're both from the same culture. We're both Nigerians. However, he is a different type of Nigerian man in the sense where he's westernized, but in a good way. Because there are some things that our culture teaches us that just don't fit this modern landscape of love, romance, and marriage. And in this day
mm,
and age where I am fairly independent, I like earning my own money, I like saying what I want to say, I like being rambunctious. My husband gives me the freedom to do that, but that's because he is a type of man that understands that. He's a good type of Nigerian man that fits the mold of today's modern world. Now, many Nigerian men are not like that, and I think that's the problem because when they want to come and impact that cultural thing to you as a woman and say, "Oh, you should do this because you're a woman, you should do that because you're a woman," it's like, well, sir, you're not doing the right cultural things you should do as a man. So there's a disconnect. If I have to be a cultural woman, that man has to be a cultural man and a good cultural man at that. So my question is, I don't think it's up to the women, but how can the men be better cultural men in order to be good coverings for the women of their community? I think we both have to play our cultural parts in order to sustain this culture. It's not just the woman.
okay. Good question. Lola, before you answer that, I want to also say on the comment section, Adugo, Adugo, welcome, welcome. Adugo said, Ugunwanyi budia, ego bu mma nwoke. And also, Chukwu Kelua said, yeah, your question corresponds with the actual reason for this live broadcast. Yes, absolutely. He says, I hope my question corresponds with the actual reason for this broadcast. Absolutely. And his question is it inherent in the nature of women in this generation to constantly put their man in the position to choose between her and his siblings? How bad can the above mentioned affect the peace and harmony in the family where her father and mother-in-laws are already passed on? So that's another something we need to come back to. And so let's go ahead and finish with the hedge on the line. So Lolo, go ahead.
Can you direct the question again? I don't think I got lost for a moment.
Yeah, so my question is, how can we ensure that the men of our community are upkeeping their own culture? Because we can say that women are the ones to upkeep the culture and we're supposed to act a certain way because of our culture, but the men are not doing what they're supposed to do. Like, for example, culturally, in Igbo culture, the men are supposed to provide, they're supposed to hunt and provide for the family and do things. They're supposed to sacrifice for their family, but nowadays it's almost as if these cultural men want the woman to sacrifice for the family and do all the sacrificing. So it's kind of saying that in this day and age, people expect women to upkeep the culture, to carry culture on top of their head, despite everything. Meanwhile, the man gets to do whatever he wants, even if whatever he's doing is not abiding by the culture. So everybody wants a cultural woman. Everybody wants a cultured woman, a submissive woman, a woman that listens, a woman that does this, that shields, that protects. But we're not getting that from the men. Our
Okay.
men are not
That
cultured at all, in my
that goes
opinion.
back to the training we're talking
Parenting.
about. It goes
Yeah.
back to parenting because I think our parents focus so much on women. Because I remember when I was young, like if I wasn't smiling, like if we were at church and I'm frowning my face, my mom would be like, straighten your face. Is this how you're going to marry? Is this how everything? Is this how you're going to marry?
Exactly. But
Straighten
then
your
you
face.
can
You're
see a
here.
man and the man can frown
So,
and the man can
and
bone
the
face
man
all
can frown
day
and it's okay.
and
So
everybody will
they
say, oh,
focus
he's
so
fine.
much on training women that the men are doing whatever. So it goes back to that because women are held at higher standard. I agree. If you see a woman that is dressing any type of way, oh, why are you dressing like that? You're a married woman. You've never had anybody say you're a married man. Why are you doing this? Why are you doing that? Is just a gender bias that we can't get away from.
I
But I
agree.
think is why we need to learn, unlearn some things and relearn some things as we get to know better. I don't know why I'm echoing, but as we get to know better, we need to unlearn some things and relearn some things because your concern is legitimate. Men need to learn to uphold the culture as well.
Yes.
So Lolo, go ahead.
So, wow. Hope if you can mute, that'd be nice so that I don't echo. Yeah, thank you. So, what I'm trying to say in essence is it boils down to parenting. There are things our parents taught us that we're supposed to filter, regardless, because you learned these things. You knew the ones that helped you, and you knew the ones that suppressed you, right? So you're supposed to have a better. How do I put it? Like you're supposed to have a better lecture for your children. But I want to say this: they were not wrong training just the men to hustle and do things. My culture believes in a man is a provider and a woman is a multiplier. So it means that they have taught this man to survive at anywhere he finds himself. And who says that my culture don't promote men to be industrious? They do. Back in the days, I don't know if some of you grew up where your dad gets in your jinoku. That's your dad will put the yam on the fire to roast the yam. I don't know if you belong to those places where if they
It,
kill a
it
goat,
depends on the family you grew up. I don't
yes,
think my
I'm
dad
saying,
knows where the kitchen is. I
okay,
don't I
I'm
think my dad
saying.
will get lost
So
if you tell him to go to the
when
kitchen.
when we have meetings, right? When we have
Mhm.
festival period, I know the men will kill the goat. And while they're
Yeah.
roasting the goat, there's a part they take out of the goat. They put it in a tray. They put oil and salt in it. That's the best meat I have eaten since I was born. And I'm telling you, I want to go back to that time where they will share, they will distribute the meat everywhere. Where you will see a man that is a farmer, he will bring out the product, and some of them will want to cook. I'm coming from a family where there is competition in the family where I come from, and it is cooking competition. If my dad had how many brothers? Do you know this is the first time I'm trying to count my uncles? So bear with me. One, two, three. If my dad has about three brothers, they all can cook. In short, I was talking to the baby of the house in my dad's home. That why is it that he married and stopped cooking? He needs to go back. These things spices up marriage. That's what I think.
I agree.
My
Hmm.
dad still cooks till today. And Dr. Precious, one of these days when you visit, we'll go to my dad and you will see my dad still cook till date. And that's because that's the kind of family he grew up in. So it boils down to your dad might not know the road to the kitchen. Your mom might not even know how to make money, but your dad did know how to make money, right? And that means
Definitely he
your
knew
dad
how
was
to make
the
money.
true
Mhm.
provider of the
That's
home.
what I'm saying, that the dynamics are different.
It
The
differs.
dynamics are different.
So, but my grandma made money. My grandma had a restaurant in the village. My grandfather made money. He had a yam ban. So the both of them brought in money to the house. However, they had people that lived in the house. You know, back then, if you don't bring your brother's children, your sister's children, and live with you, that means you're not a strong man.
Mhm,
And my
mhm,
dad took all my dad, if it was possible to carry the village, my dad will carry the village. And that was the thing I decided not to take from him. I will love you from a distance, but I will not bring you to my home. So there were things that thing taught me. When I open my doors, let's eat and marry, because I will still do it. That's how I was raised. I was raised that one bag of rice is not enough for the house for a month. We have to have up to five before it can carry the home. That's how I was raised. So it does not
mhm,
mean that I would do that. And that was what richness meant to my dad. That was what success meant to him, right?
mhm.
And there's no Christmas, he won't get up to 10, 11 people going back to Port Harcourt with him at that time, right? That's what, for me, I don't need to bring people together. I can help you. You know, the world now has changed. I can help you where you are, and you can grow where you are. So I can also have peace for myself,
Peace.
right? I saw how I saw how my mom liked it, and I saw how sometimes she was on ease with it. Do you understand?
Mhm,
So I want to
mhm,
love people, but I want to love people from a distance sometimes. I want to have
mhm,
my space. I want to spend time with my children. And above all, some of you might say I'm greedy. I want my husband to myself. When he has that available time to also share with people, yes, we will appreciate that, but it cannot be all the time. So what I'm
mhm,
saying is that men, they taught men how to go for umunna meeting. They taught men how to do this, how to do that, because that was what worked in their generation. The
mhm,
world is changing now. It doesn't mean that you should not go with that change. It means that
mhm.
as things around you is changing, it means that you should be changing for the good.
I
It means that
agree.
if that is a family, especially you're
So
in the
basically,
US.
you're saying that the men were taught, because I think what H is trying to say is that men are not upholding the culture. So basically, you're saying that men are upholding the
Men
culture.
are taught, yes. The ones that are telling you they were not taught is the ones that wants to go wayward. What about those days when our sisters were out of the house? to go and stay with somebody. And it was the man that was supposed to be at home who was helping our parents. Because trust me, I believe that our parents got more help than they deserved. Some people will come out in public and say, oh, these women are lazy. My mother farmed. Is a lie. Your mother had people around her. Unless you were not born in an Igbo culture. In an Igbo culture, everybody, as far as you're a younger one, you must have an elder person that you are serving. You are giving that service to. And as far as you don't have money, forget it. You will pay for not having money with chores. I'm telling you the truth. I had an uncle that he doesn't do anything because he has money. All his brothers rally around him because, oh, Diego, if you ask him provide this, he will provide. So when he has worked for that money and he's providing for that money, you don't expect him when it's time for him to relax. Then he will join you to run errand. There's an Igbo adage that say eke olo eke. Works are being shared. Eke eke. You understand? So what I'm trying to say is that those men are capable. Now, would they be happy that their marriages has failed? Because I see where some women are coming from, that they go to work, they do this, they do that. Cut your hours. If you're cutting your
But if
hours,
they cut
and
their
you get-
hours, the bills may not be paid.
guess what? If you're in the diaspora, that means go for those things the government has given. Trust me, these people have resources enough to keep you afloat if you're in the diaspora.
Mhm.
When you reduce your income, that means you
You
can
reduce
apply
your
for
lifestyle.
insurance. Yes, you reduce your lifestyle. And then when you're a mother that think that you don't want to go, you don't want to work anymore. Oh yeah, it's time to go back to school. Oh, yeah, go back to school. It's time to go back to school and get grants and get those opportunities that are on your door. So make use of what is around you to build yourself. But if you don't stay educated and informed, you will be in the dark age. And that's what is also going on back home. There are so many resources that are back home, but because the youth, the young ones, are not investing their time on those resources, guess what? All of them I want to hammer. They get out from university, they don't even want to start slow. They are ready to do anything to just make it.
To just blow.
So, and when they, and God forbid, they meet a right lady, right? Because I'm saying God forbid, because if you meet a wrong man, it's forbidden. Why will a good lady be in the hands of a wrong man? And why will be a good man be in the hands of a wrong lady? And let me say this, Hope. Sometimes we enable this man. Sometimes we
I
enable
can
this
agree
man.
with that. I can. I can.
Don't start. Sometimes we enable this man. Don't start what you cannot finish. Don't pretend when you come into a marriage. Bring yourself in that first 3 years. Don't be tired. You know you're really tired. Then you now
Lolo,
remember the adage your mother said. Maybe
Lolo,
let me round
somebody
up.
is
Let
saying,
me round up.
oh, well, welcome, oh, my brother, Avone Silas. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Somebody is saying, actually, Chukukelo, he's saying, I don't understand. So, because you have money, you will expect your older siblings to run errands, or
Okay,
because they didn't bring money? Was that
maybe let
what
me let
you
me don't
mean?
lose my track. I
Because
will
I will
answer
never
to that.
accept that to be right.
Yeah, let me don't lose my track. I will go back to that. Let me don't lose what I'm saying.
Mhm.
Women, we enable these things. Don't start what you cannot finish. Don't accept what you know. And don't be shy. There are teachings where how do I put it? You know how you go into a marriage, right? And you guys start with missionary style, for example,
Oh
right?
my
These are
goodness.
for these are for married couples, and they start with
Okay,
missionary
I'm married,
style,
so
for
I
example.
qualify. Okay.
Yes, they start with missionary style, for example, and then the woman is not satisfied with that style. Don't let it go on. Discuss it.
Yes.
Open up to your man. And as a man, don't keep silent for whatever is going on in your home that you are displeased with. The marriage is not for people to hide themselves. It's for people to be real to themselves and kill what you call hypocrisy.
Lola, that
When
is
you
a
know the
topic.
flaws
That is a topic for another
of
day because
these persons.
we were raised not to show that side of us. We're supposed to be, holy.
Maybe
We're
my
supposed.
dad, maybe, hold on. My mom brought some of her great grandparents' teaching. Eh? My dad broke them down for us. My dad always say, if you're not okay with something, speak out. There's something my dad taught me as a child. He said, at the end of every day, reappraise yourself. When you reappraise yourself, then you will jot down the things that went well and the things you're hoping to do better tomorrow.
Mhm,
So I think people should also still learn, even in their marriages, how to re-evaluate, recheck before they submit.
mhm. You
So
see that issue of sexual satisfaction? Sexual satisfaction is a whole new topic that we is on its own because a lot of our people, from my understanding, have, like I said before, I have the gift of people confiding in me. I'm not sure why. A lot of men, because you're saying women not being satisfied, is actually men. In my opinion, a lot of men are not satisfied because of the way we women were raised to be holy. We are raised to be, if you do too much, you're a prostitute. And then our men enable it because even if you do too much, they're like, how did you learn that? So we need to break that culture of being too conservative in the bedroom when we're with our
maybe,
man. So that's a whole new
maybe
topic that
the
we're going
problem
to
with us
discuss
is that
eventually because I have a message to our women. I know there are men that will cheat no matter what you do. But do you know there are some men that will not cheat if they're satisfied? They cheat because they're so bored, they're so unsatisfied, and then they can't do anything about it. They have women, especially the born again, as if we are not born again. I'm born again, but especially the born again sisters. They can't do this. They can't BJ, no, no. Any star, oh, no, no, we have to be mission. Do you know there's a pastor that actually preached that if you're not doing missionary style, you're going to hell. So, my dear, what I'm trying to say is leave that topic alone. We will treat it on its own by its own, on its own, because it's a big problem out here. A lot of men are suffering. A lot of men are not satisfied. I'm sure there are a lot of women that are not satisfied too, from what you're telling me, Lolo. But me, I've been privileged to hear about the men a lot, especially men that are in Christian homes where their wives are thinking, oh, this is a sin, that is a sin. And these men are not, and sometimes they fall. They meet the right woman that will do the right thing, say the right thing, they fall. They cheat when they wouldn't have cheated otherwise. Not to excuse men for cheating, but I do believe that some men that would otherwise not cheat, but because of problems in the home and not being satisfied in the bedroom, they cheat. But then the men that will cheat, no matter what you do, they're there. It's just who they are. So, but anyway, Lord, I just wanted to touch a little bit on that.
But just to
Let's
interrupt,
focus.
Dr. Precious, I really do appreciate your point, and I also appreciate Lala's point, especially with the concept of communicating, because, like you said, Lala, the world is really changing, and we have to adapt. Like we can still keep some of that culture, but we have to adapt. But we won't know where we're falling short if us as married people don't communicate with our spouses. And I really do like that point because even if you have a spouse that is traditional in every sense, but you feel like they need to kind of adapt their ways and kind of change a little bit to fit the modern landscape. I think that's something that could be communicated. And if that person is right for you, they can learn and they can change. Because I've been watching the live from the beginning, and there's something you mentioned about if a man is teachable and learnable, those are two good qualities. So that really ties back into what you said about having that communication first, and then, okay, how can we adapt this culture to fit our the realms of our own marriage, our own personal marriage, and our own personal dynamic? Because you're so right. It really depends on how the person is raised. Like my husband, he cooks and he's very domesticated in many ways. And that's because he was raised like that. And that's why I was attracted to him, because in my mind, not a lot of Nigerian men are raised like that. So I do understand how it definitely boils down to the family and the upbringing, but mostly the communication. So I think that was a really good point. Like we need to be able to communicate what we want from each other and how we can grow within the dynamic. But thank you both so much because I have to go now because my husband is calling me. But thank you both so much. I love you both. I've been watching this live
We love you
since the
too.
beginning, so I'm so glad that I got to be in the studio. So thank you both so much.
You're
You're
welcome. You're
welcome. You're
welcome.
welcome
Anytime.
anytime.
Anytime. Okay, so Lolo, let's go to other people because we need to hurry up and conclude. Let's go to one. Are you saying that because somebody have money, their elder ones should serve them and run errands for them? Two, should you make your should why should women make their man to choose, put them in position to choose between them, the wife, and the siblings, the man's siblings? So those are the two questions that are
Man,
pending.
the second question, it means it boils down to having a whole day for that question. You see, the second question, because many women, before they get married, they are praying, my mother in law should die. Lord, my father in law should not be alive. And they forget there'll be mother in laws to somebody tomorrow.
Yes,
They
yes.
forget that, their children will be father in laws.
Will
So
marry
that means
too,
that
and they will
they will
become
get married,
mother-in-laws.
right?
Mm.
And then they forget that there will be sister in laws. What I say, this is what I want to put out there. What I want to put out there is when you marry a man, know that his siblings are now your siblings.
Exactly.
Keep that in mind. Now,
Exactly.
when you marry a woman, know that her siblings are now yours.
Your siblings. Mhm.
Okay. And the way I see it is instead of we being in competition, the so-called competition, the women that live in diaspora and the men that live in diaspora, who is taking care of their sibling the most, we will collectively do it together as a
Together.
spouse.
Mhm.
Now,
Mhm.
why am I saying that? Our
Mm.
first assignment is to take care of our mother and our father together.
Mhm.
It
Mhm.
means that when my husband marries me, I have a responsibility to check on my mother in law. Whether
Yep.
she's a wicked woman or she
Or
is
not.
witches and wizard, everything due to her as a mother, she should receive.
Mhm.
It means that when we are done taking care of ourselves, it's our priority to show that our parents should be okay. They should be in a good standing point. Then when
Yes.
it comes to our siblings, it's whether we have
Mhm.
it though.
Mhm.
Because when it comes to our siblings, then there's a but in it. We have
Mm.
to have that money to give to them.
Mhm.
They're not our priority. Our siblings are
Mhm.
not our priority. But if we have that to help them out, we should. But
Mhm.
they're priority. But you see, our
Mhm.
parents are solely our responsibility, whether we
Mhm.
like it or not, because they have done that job. They have paid their dues.
Mhm.
So they're sitting back,
Mhm.
waiting. Back then, we were the pension of back then, our own parents were our parents' pension.
Mhm.
Back then. But now
Yeah.
the narrative is changing. Now people
Mm.
are saying, let's don't get our parents lazy. Let's get them do something so they can, they can relax, they can, do exercise
Mhm.
and the rest of them. When we enable our siblings every time we're giving them money, they will not grow.
They will, yeah.
We make it a point of duty to help our siblings also grow mentally and otherwise. And
Mhm.
let's work on what they need more than what they want,
Mhm.
so that our own marriages will not fall. For instance, if my sister needs money to complete to start her business, and probably my brother-in-law is in the hospital and he's conducting a surgery and they need money,
Mhm.
I think our priority at that point is to help my brother-in-law leave the hospital, because it is who
Mhm.
that is alive that can
Yeah.
fend for themselves. So you have to
Mhm.
scale
Mhm.
one comes
Mhm.
first. So this is where you
Mhm.
have to kill emotions because you have taken these two people as yourself. And when
Mm-hmm.
you grow with these people and your children precisely, oh my God, it will be hard for those children to fail in their marriages because there's something called family tree. Right now, we've forgotten that adage that says Onyarapuna one near. We have forgotten that adage that no one should
Mm-hmm.
leave their sibling behind. Today,
Mm-hmm.
many people are perpetual enemies to their sibling. Now,
Unfortunately.
when you are enemies to your sibling, where does your children come from? You don't want them to enjoy that thing they call cousin relationship. Let me tell you why people are poor. And that's Igbo. That's why an Igbo man wants to be rich. An Igbo man believes that you are rich with people. You are rich
Mm-hmm.
with your family.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe if we tap into the grace of tolerating each other in a family and coming together as a family, trust me, I don't think that most family will have poor people there.
Mm-hmm.
My brother supplies cement. It means that we'll buy from my brother. Whoever wants to build a house, the money remains in the family.
Mm-hmm.
If my sister is a hair maker, it means that anybody that wants to make hair, as far as we are within the country, my sister should be the one supplying us the hair and making the hair. So we
Mm-hmm.
patronize each other. That's
Mm-hmm.
only a family that have killed jealousy. I am bigger than you. I am greater than you. Because sometimes, if your family will lead you to your downfall, please stay far. I still believe
Yeah.
in that ideology, so I don't mislead people. But then,
Mm.
family that is in peace and unity, it is hard that
You're talking about family that is in one, that is united. Mm-hmm.
it is hard that you don't see them grow, and that family lives long.
Yeah.
You know why death is rampant? You know why in every homes right now in back home you see death rampant because onye ọbụla rapụ go 1 year. A lot of people joy echiche. We are thinking bad about our siblings when we should think about our siblings as ourselves. Why? When our siblings travel outside the country, when they come back, they are no longer human beings. They are now sacrificial lamb. We should extort and dry them. But we forget that whether they are far from us, they are still our sibling. So, in a nutshell, just to put it together, I will say, please, don't go and marry a wife that will make you forget about your siblings. Remember, you are of the same blood. However, you can replace a bad spouse, but you cannot replace a bad sibling.
Mm.
Never replace a sibling. You can never replace a mother. You can never replace a father. But you see a
Mm.
spouse, you can replace them. So
Mm-hmm.
when we are in love, I'm not saying don't take your wife or your husband as yourself. No, I know where I'm heading to with this. While you're in love, also believe in your family. Live that reserved love that you have always have for them. It is
Mm-hmm.
very important. If we're inculcating this, the death rates we see that young ones are dying, we will not see those
We reduce.
numbers. It will reduce. Back then, ABL, Dr. Precious, I was sharing with you that back then, for you to find where somebody died, hey, it's hard.
I know.
Right now,
Now it's every second somebody died. Every second.
they will even conduct two burials at the same time of two young people, five burials
Mm.
at the same time of two very young people. It boils down to our parents are wiser than we are. And I will say this publicly. Our parents always had solution. We are not creating solution. We are just giving advice based on what is happening. Like people are against what do you call this again? Female circumcision, right? But back then, they did it to solve a problem that they felt in their head that they solved that problem. Now, when we discover that that was a problem, we should have found out when we discovered that what they did was not safe for women to actually deliver and all that, we should have looked for a permanent solution to help that narrative. The reason why our people were big on women was to save the marriage. And let me be honest to you, The reason why they were big on women is to save the marriage. And that they tried to save. Now, today, are we going to say we were more successful than our parents? It's not true. Our parents lived better lives than we lived. Today, look at it. We're all over the place. We're looking for money. I'm in another country. You all are in another country. Now, we're losing even populations back home. There's nobody. You go to some places back home and you find an empty house. But back then, our parents would go to school abroad and come back and help the community. Back then, a community would raise funds and send somebody abroad. But somebody went there and forgot the community raised funds, married wife, had children there. And guess what? The community stopped carrying good works.
Mm.
Ndị Igbo si na ụzọ dị mma, anyị ga-eje ya ugboro ibua. Mana ọ bụ na
Mm.
ụzọ dị njọ, anyị again that ụzọ again. If the roads are good, we'll pass through those roads all the time. But if the roads are bad, we wouldn't pass through that road again. So what
Mhm.
I'm saying is, I will strongly agree with some people that say we should go back to our culture when it comes to marriage. Our parents got it together. We don't have anything together. We're all over the place. And for the Gen Z that believe that they want to be entrepreneurs without nobody, for the Gen Z that believe that if my parents is living in Austin, I will pack my load to Maryland. I need to be far from my parents because that's their belief. Guess what? When you're old, when you're sick, and nobody's there for you, make sure you remain there where you are. Because you cannot be remaining there when things are going for you. And when you're suffering, you come back. Dr. Abi, look at those people coming back home at old age when they never catered for anybody. And some of them leave them to actually die. And that's why there are all these problems we see today. I just want to
Mm.
answer our brother with 1 minute so I can rest myself. So, to answer my brother's question, is not because he's rich. Back then, when you have nothing to provide, you serve the rich ones. And I don't think it's a crime. You can't be in a family when they're buying bag of rice, you will not buy. When they're buying beans, you won't buy common bread. At least you pay with helping doing the dishes, helping sweeping, helping doing one or two things. I believe in that value. I'm sorry, many people might not believe in that value. I do believe in it. And that is why back then there was a competition not to fail. But today, men and women are proud to fail. They will tell you they're not the only ones. But back then, if you're not good in education, you must be good in finding a handwork. But today, nobody is going to serve anybody again. You go to where you're serving somebody, you want to also be a boss. And instead of us to be growing where we come from, we're diminishing. So I stand to tell you, we need to go back. Those things our parents has taught us, we need to instill it on our children and teach
Mm.
them the right way. When you bring together, you also bring the experience you have had in life, you add it together, you will raise a successful home. But let me tell you, when you throw away the things your parents has embedded on you, you are only a failure. And that's why I will always call my dad one of the wisest men I have met since I was born.
Mhm.
Thank you so much.
Mm. Lolo, you have spoken absolutely well. I don't know what else I can add to that, but if I may add something, I will say that to add to what Lolo have said, I think it always starts from the beginning. When you're going to marry somebody, there is need to look well. Like Lola said, in the olden days, before you get married, your family will go joyce. Oh, we have a BJ joyce. They will not only look at that person because we're mostly a product of our family, of our upbringing. So they look at the parents, they look at the parents' parents, they look at everything before they proceed. So having doing that homework, initial homework, is good because some women are cantankerous. Let's be honest. So if you marry a woman that will perpetually put you in the position to choose between her and your siblings, trust me, there's really not much you can do. You will constantly be in that position. And you choose your siblings, the woman is not happy. You choose the woman, your siblings is not happy. It shouldn't be. Such a problem should not exist because there's enough love in you for your siblings and for your wife. There's enough, everybody should be in their office. The office of a wife is the office of a wife. The office of siblings is the office of siblings. And each person should get okeluluha. So I don't think putting you in that position is right. In as much as I think your leadership as a man should be able to trump all that. If you're leading, you should be able to guide that woman correctly. So if you see that this woman is putting you, is for you to take charge of that situation, let the wife know what their office is. Let them know that nobody is competing in that office. You don't sleep with your siblings, you sleep with her. There are things you do with her because I can stand here and say, oh, you choose your wife over your siblings, but that's not right. You shouldn't have to choose. Or you choose your siblings over because there are people that even think your wife is not your family. That is also wrong. You should not have to choose. Everybody have their own office and everybody should function at the level of their office. There's enough love for everybody. Like me, for example, God forbid that I will put my husband in the position to choose between me. Why is she choosing when me I'm choosing his siblings? Like the way I love my husband's people, like mad. I don't know. And I don't have to struggle. It comes naturally. If any of them now comes and show me a different side that they want to harm me or they want to do this, then of course I will take cover. I will try to protect myself. But until then, if I love my husband, and I don't love his siblings, I'm joking. I'm lying to myself. You can't love somebody without loving where they come from. You can't love somebody without loving what made them. And everybody is a product of the family they're coming out of. So if your wife, oh, I can see you said you're back. So what we're saying is if your wife is putting you in that position, if you're a man on this broadcast and your wife is putting you in that position, there is a problem. They shouldn't be putting you in that position because the siblings have their office, the wife have her office, and you as a man have enough love in your heart. God has created you with enough love to be able to give it to your wife accordingly and give to your siblings accordingly. So, having said that, I do know that some women that just like wahala. If I say there is no that women, I will be lying to myself. There are women that were raised in a situation where they have to fight, grab. If you are raised in a home where you have to grab, fight for everything, there is tendency that when you go to your husband's house, you will also fight and grab. Oh, the husband's siblings are coming. Oh, they're coming to finish your husband's money. You start fighting. Unseen battle. There's no battle, but you're fighting. I've seen this happen in real life. It all stems from the upbringing. So if you see your wife doing that, always, attacking your siblings' presence and the love you give to them, do you know me? If I'm with my husband and the brother comes or the sister comes and they want to sit on my husband's lap, do you know what? I will help them sit well. And if they need to discuss something private, I will excuse them. Nothing concern me. I don't understand it, but I do know it exists. Where there is this, the some wives are. I still say it's stemming from their upbringing. When you have to always fight for everything you have to fight to eat, you have to fight to keep this, you take that to your husband's home. So when you see that happening, what you have to do is talk to that woman, understand where the trauma is coming from, because unfortunately a lot of our people carry trauma that is not resolved. Understand where it's coming from and deal with the root of the issue. Until you deal with the root of that issue, it will not be solved. And some people, other than trauma and all that, they're just bad people. Let's face it, there are bad people in this world. So if that is the case, you just have to tell her a way to manage her. Maybe get, you have to have wisdom to manage it. But is it right for women? The question is it right for women to be putting their husband in a position to choose between them and their siblings? Is totally wrong. It's not right at all. And if you're a woman here and you are doing that, please change. If there's trauma that is causing you to do that, please deal with that trauma. Talk to somebody. Get some counsel. Prayer works. There's nothing God cannot do. So you don't find yourself having that need to push the family away or to deal with the family or to see. And I still repeat, if you can't love a man without loving his family, you can't love a woman without loving her family. And like Lolo said, if you marry somebody and they have sisters and brothers, guess what? You have inherited sisters and brothers. So if you marry somebody, it goes both ways. So if you're not seeing your husband's siblings as your siblings, there is a problem. And you're not seeing your wife's siblings as siblings, there is also a problem. And if you find that one or two of them of questionable character or likes to cause trouble, then you will have to set boundaries. But until then, love them. Love your husband, love his family. Love them, welcome them. Anything you can do for them, do for them. Anything you can give them, give. If you have it, give. Of course, I'm not saying go steal to give or displease yourself to give. Everything is within reason. And if you're being led, me, I believe so much is being led by the Spirit. If you're being led by the Spirit, you will always know what to do, when to do it, how to do it. And you can never go wrong. And your spirit will be at peace. If somebody now chooses not to appreciate it or chooses to be this or that, that is on that person. And at that point, you can set appropriate boundaries. Okay? But I think what trumps everything we're saying is choosing right to begin with. Before you marry somebody, be it a man, be it of a woman, let's go back, like Lolo keeps saying, let's go back to the old ways. Make the appropriate inquiries. Let the father, in the days of our father, they don't even look at you. They go look at your grandfather. Oh, the grandfather is a thief. We won't marry her. The grandmother is this. You have to make those appropriate inquiries and know where the person is coming from. And after you choose well, chances are you won't have these issues. But let's say you have gotten into the marriage and you're having these issues, talk to that woman, identify the source of that problem. Like I said, some people grew up having to fight for everything, and they fight all the way into their husband's house. Okay, find the source and deal with it. If you need therapy, I know our people, we don't believe in therapy, but they do help. It doesn't have to be professional therapy from a professional. You can get therapy from a good pastor, somebody with wisdom, and you have to add prayer, because with prayer and a good counseling, those mindsets, those trauma can heal, and you will be able to function well with your spouse. Okay, I hope what I said made sense. So that being said, we have to conclude this. It's going to 4 hours now. Lola, it's so engaging and I'm enjoying it. Lola, thank you so much for being here. I hope to have you here all the time. We will do this again because, as you can see, there's so many topics that we have to quickly come back to relationship. So there's so many questions that didn't get answered because they are not related to relationship. So
It's
we
broad,
have
yeah.
to do this again, and we'll try to make it a regular, maybe on Saturdays or every other Saturdays or Sundays. So please, thank you so much for tuning in. I hope you got something from this broadcast. Don't forget to hit that thumbs up, hit the like button, please. It helps us a lot. Hit that like button and share so we can all continue this conversation even after the broadcast. So thank you for being here. I love you all. Thank you for joining me. I've definitely enjoyed it. Everybody that came to the studio, and everybody on the comment section, everybody that is watching, I love you all. I love you all. And I definitely enjoyed this more than I thought I would. And may God bless you all. See you all next time. Bye.